Hello everyone, Idris is here with a new video, a build guide, what I've been playing these days. Yeah, it's been a while, it's been a minute since my latest one, I apologize for that. I took a break from PoE, I took a 1 week break. I league started, my league started pretty fine, I hit red maps in no time. I was progressing relatively smoothly. I was playing a Freezing Pulse Totems. Back then I didn't know that I could transition to Forbidden Rites and just demolish everything. So yeah, damage started to fall off at like T12s. I felt terrible, I was corpse running, and I just quit the league for a week. You know, got acquainted with it via like videos and streams, and I'm actually in love with this league now, guys. The league mechanics are awesome. Pog books are just so much enjoyment and profit. Yeah, guys, play the game. It's actually really fun if you can, leave aside all the prejudice and negative emotions you have connected with them and just, start anew with a blank. Yeah, it can bring a lot of joy. Like, this league mechanic is awesome. Especially in my case, it brought me this. Yeah, Gwennen actually gave me a headhunter from a Blither belt, so that might be a large portion why I'm enjoying the league, but I don't think so. Anyway, let's jump to the build guide, to the actual video. Yes, this is a Herald of Thunder Autobomber Elementalist. It is a very neat build. It is a walking simulator, very enjoyable playstyle. Autobomber means you just walk around, everything dies, you don't have to do anything, just collect loot. This build is pretty complicated mechanically, and I'm gonna be explaining everything, but first map showcase, and for the sake of the video, I'll be dropping this Headhunter because, it's fair, right? I'll be running the Rennie's Invitation, which is probably better in slot for this build, because Headhunter doesn't do much in this league, as much as it's fun to play. Alright, so as you can see, Headhunter gives a metric ton of stats, right, and life, but we'll be fine, it will suffice. This is a pretty squishy build. I have 3.4k life and 1.1k ES without it, which translates to 4.5k HP, but we'll do fine. Let's do a T14 with Drox. Sure. Yoink, ouch. Avoid elemental ailments, kinda. This one is kinda iffy, but I think I can even do this. So the way this build works, let me go over it briefly without going into detail. Herald of Thunder just pops everything. Pop, 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 pop. I kill one mob, it explodes with impulses. It shocks everything around it with storm gifts. And yeah, chain reactions for days. Let's see. But to start a chain but to go off, you need to start the chain reaction, right? So yeah. Being an elementalist, so Herald of Thunder has one condition to go off, right? To start zapping. The enemy that you kill needs to be shocked. I'm an elementalist, that's why like all the damage I do shocks, except for damage that cannot shock. Like Herald of Thunder itself cannot shock, so and explosions from impulses cannot shock. But how do I sustain shock? You might ask. I have a cast when damage taken setup. It's not like I'll be explaining that a bit, but yeah, basically, as you can see, I just walk around, right? I have steel skin on my left click. Everything kind of dies and explodes. Single target is actually there. Like I killed Series 4 yesterday with like no problem at all. But then again, I've already invested 10 exalts into this build, if not more, like mostly for the helm. Let's not account for that. It doesn't do much in like unique fights. But yeah, even without it, it can, I'm pretty sure, clear all the late game except for like the feared probably, because it would be pain in the butt to like the biggest upside of this build that you don't have to aim at all, right? That you don't have to aim at monsters at all. It just kills and auto aims for you. And the biggest downside is exactly the same, right? You cannot aim. So like when you have 5 bosses that can one-shot you with anything, yeah, it's not optimal. The fact that you cannot choose who to kill first, you know what I mean? So yeah, as you can see, I'm putting down my Void Sphere and just Yeah, everything kind of explodes. Everything kind of explodes. Storm Gifts and Impulses is just exquisite, exquisite clear. Just so much quality of life. Alrighty. Beautiful music, violin on the background as well. Yeah, I'm loving this league, guys. Like, yeah, you got a headhunter, you lucky bastard, but you know, it's just I don't know, very cool, very new, very cool. Like, you know, that's what a new league is for. I'm gonna be opting to get 40 challenges as well, but that's pretty much impossible in this build, so I'm gonna be playing something else. But I think I'll leave this guy up just to run some maps. Maybe if I need currency to farm up or something, or just brainlessly run some maps, right? Spawn some conquerors, because this is just pleasure, right? Everything just pops. I'm pretty unsatisfied with one thing, that like they don't have the explosion sound. Sorry for the sound effect, but you know what I mean. Like all the other explosions have, but Impulses is kind of whack. I don't remember if it was the case. I think they changed like the Impulses animation, something. Maybe they dropped the sound. It's very frustrating, but you know. Still, like, this is the biggest one of the two biggest downside of the build, as I said. But, yeah, you just run around and yeah, enjoy. Like, single target is, yeah, maybe I shouldn't run into the mobs having 3.5 HP. Strange, very strange. I think avoidance is very hurtful. Yeah, and Maven is not helping as well. I don't know, guys. This is probably not the best showcase, but I'm gonna leave you with that. It's not a bossing build. It is a map clearing build. I don't know what that was. Usually, you know, it's like 2 mil DPS currently, this variation, and like bosses should drop. Anyway, that was the map showcase. This will suffice, guys. Let me jump into the actual, you know, mechanics and how I build the character so far. So this build revolves around Herald of Thunder. Herald of Thunder is a spell AoE duration, which does not get supported by spell damage, by the way. It's strange that it has a spell tag. So Herald of Thunder, I apologize, creates a storm when you kill a shocked enemy, right? So storm, it means that thing. It would work by itself for mapping, right? If you can kill a pack with something else and boom, you're popping off, right? But for single target, we use Storm Secret as well. This ring allows us to create a shock even without killing a shocked enemy. Creates a storm. Anyway, we don't have to kill a thing in order to proc a storm, right? We can just shock something and boom, storm goes off, right? Herald of Thunder also creates a storm when you shock an enemy. So all we have to do is shock an enemy. How do we do that? We be an Elementalist. Your hits always shock. This wording is pretty iffy because like there are some situations, but for example, like enemies have avoidance of shock, 70%. Is the latest in the calculation. So your hits always shock, it means 100% to shock, right? But they have 70% to avoid that. So, you know, always shock kind of sounds too reassuring, I would say. Anyway, that's just me, as always, being all over the place. Sorry guys, I've been away for a while. I'm back to the YouTube. And yeah, bear with me, please. In the Storm Secrets, they also increase frequency of how frequent Herald of Thunder zaps, right? So one ring is like, it has, as you can see, Herald of Thunder storms hit enemies 30 to 50% increased frequency, which is like, if you have one Storm Secret, it's basically a 50% more DPS, right? Because reasons. And if you get second one, it's like 20 to 25, right? Or whatever, 15 to 25 more DPS. So yeah, not accounting for lightning damage and chance to shock is irrelevant, but yeah. But it has a big downside. It says take 25 lightning damage when Herald of Thunder hits an enemy. So we take 500, like 250 and 250 lightning damage per every tick of Herald of Thunder. And as you saw, it goes off very frequently, and it's a lot of self damage. How do we negate that? Obviously, first mitigation is lightning resistance. So we take 500, then we negate 80% of it, so we take 100% per tick, which is still considerable damage, right? Considering the frequency. I negated by basically splitting my lightning damage in half by using Corrupted Soul. So non-chaos damage taken by passive energy shield. So I split 50% damage to energy shield and 50 damage to energy shield and 50 damage to life. And those and getting 50%. Yeah, I basically get leech, right? It sounded way scarier in my head, and I was afraid that I would die, like a little, but actually it didn't. So I have Doriani's Lesson for 0.2 damage leached as life, and where was it? And lightning damage leached as ES from here. So 0.2% of lightning damage leached as life and ES is enough to sustain for the most part, even without Crest of Desire. So why Crest of Desire, right? This is a very particularly, this best in slot helm. It has one socket. It gives 8 levels of to socketed gems. It gives up to 50% quality to socketed gems, and socketed gems deal double damage. Herald of Thunder has a very weird way of scaling. So if you try to tweak with it in PoP, Herald of Thunder doesn't get affected by spell damage. It only gets affected by elemental damage. So like LE Focus would work with it, and actually LE Focus makes it so you cannot inflict elemental ailments, which is already the case for Herald of Thunder, right? So LE Focus is best in slot. You can do like Energy Leech as a support because it just says socketed gems, linked gems deal more damage. And yeah, there's very scarce support gems that you can use with it. And Herald of Thunder mostly benefits from levels. So Empower 4, which is ridiculously expensive, right? Would be also pretty good. But Crest of Desire, this helm basically doubled my DPS from a 5 link. On the 5 link, I had Herald of Thunder, LE Focus, Energy Leech, added Lightning, I think. I wanted to go Awakened LE Lightning if I had to, right? It's not that expensive, and plus 1 level on level 5, it's also very viable, right? And something, Cruelty was it, or I don't quite remember, but or was I even running with Calling Strikes? Yeah, I think I was running Calling Strike because I couldn't color, and as you can see, this is definitely best in slot, guys. It's insane utilization of this. It's a pretty expensive helm. It's 7 exalts. It's the most expensive part of the build. And yeah, kind of wanted to try out this version, to be honest. I started playing this build mostly because I got a Headhunter. I was like, what is the best build for Headhunter? Anyway, I'm just all over the place again. I apologize, guys, but yeah, kind of how it is. All right, this is for the helm, 1 link setup. We take 500 lightning damage with every tick, right? Which translates to 100 damage because of 80% damage mitigation, right? So I have 2 cast on damage taken setups because I get a lot of cast on damage taken, and cast on damage taken just cast itself, right? It's trigger, so I don't have to cast myself. I have 1 cast on damage taken setup with Stormbrand, Hex Touch, and Conductivity. You could go cast on damage taken Conductivity level 1, but it's more mana, it's less level, so I went with this. And Calling Strike on Stormbrand as well. And the other setup is cast on damage taken, Wave of Conviction, and Cold Snap. To get some frenzy charges occasionally, and yeah. And Combustion as well for Cinder Swallow. As I said, this build is pretty mechanically heavy. If you have any questions, if you want to go for this one and have any questions, hop onto my stream, twitch.tv/IdrisElbow, www. I'll be more than happy to help. And yeah, shoot away, guys. I highly recommend this. This build doesn't require like too much to get you started. You need Ignorant South. It's one of the best in slot staffs in the game. Staves probably like a GG crafted +3 stave staff would be better, but to get you started and like up to red maps, as you saw, like I cleared the T14 with relatively no problem. That boss was a piece of son of a bitch. I don't know what happened there. It gives +2 levels, which benefit greatly, right? Our Herald Thunder, 50% lightning damage increase, awesome. Maximum lightning res, which means we take less damage with every tick, right? Very considerable. And 20% lightning pen, which you like can't get much of, right? And yeah, lightning pen also probably can be a support if you run like a linked version of it. I'll be leaving a POB in the description below. I'll have a 6-link version as well as this version. Yeah, you can click on yeah. Let me do 2 separate POBs for your comfort. Yes, and yeah, impulses for the explosions. Awesome. Shocked enemies you kill explode, dealing 5% of the life as lightning damage, and enemies you kill are shocked. So this is a very neat interaction. Like my Herald of Thunder by itself cannot shock, right? Impulses, explosions cannot shock. So if I was running like this, then only my cast 1 damage taken, Wave of Conviction, and Cold Snap would shock, and my Flame Dash would shock, and I wouldn't get as like even close to those explosions that I was getting. But with these gloves, like when my Herald of Thunder kills one person, right? Monster. It becomes shocked, and shocks you inflict spread to other enemies within a radius of 15. So it's an insanely quick chain reaction like this, right? The shock spread like to a radius of 15, and radius of 15 is it's like this, like a staff attack range, right? So it's pretty considerable range as well. Sometimes like in enclosed arenas like waste pool map or something like that, it just goes off. Actually, let me showcase a waste pool in a bit, all right? Just because I wasn't satisfied. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't satisfied with that map boss. Sorry for the length of the video, but yeah, as I said, bear with me. And yeah, this is the best combination. Like for bosses, I swapped from Storm's Gifts to Algor Mortis. This gives like 20%, 25% more DPS, like 22-ish, because it has enemies in chilling areas take increased lightning damage, and we have chilling area from Arctic Armor and Cold Snap. Oh man, so many mechanics actually in this build, and yeah man, it's gonna take me a while. Holy fuck. And yeah, and also sap enemies in chilling areas, because sap makes enemies take less damage. Take less damage, deal less damage. So it's a pretty good defensive mechanic, as well as like increased lightning damage. It's insane actually. An effect of non-damaging elements, we shock after all, right? So shock increases damage taken, and increased effect of shock, it means more damage taken, as well as yeah, it just works, okay? Just works. And to get you started, you only need 5-link Agnerod, 10C, 5-link Impulses, 20C, Storm Gifts, 5C, Storm Secret, 1C each. I don't know, maybe let's say 5C, right? So what was it? 10, 30, 40, say 50, and this build is best in slot. Like, don't look at this. It is indeed best in slot. It gives a lot, and helps to cap out resistances. What is this, like under 100 chaos? All right, maybe not 100, 70 for this, right? And like a rare amulet with life resistances, rare boots with life resistances, MS, rare helmet with life resistances, and you can fit in like I was running with this. What was it? With this, Herald of Thunder damage and a bunch of life on a Hubris. Right, before I got into this. And one of the core things as well is a Lone Messenger, Calamitous Visions. This little notable gives a lot. You can only have one Herald, and we only care about one Herald. Right, 50% more effective Herald buffs on you, which gives lightning damage. Right, buff grants increased lightning damage. Boom, that's awesome. More damage with hits from Herald skills, basically 2 times the damage. 100% more from here, double from here. Oh man, there's so many, right? So many double. More damage over time, doesn't matter. Minions doesn't matter. But your aura skills are disabled. That's a big one. It means we cannot use aura skills, right? So we only use Herald of Thunder and what to do with the other reservation. I'm using Arctic Armor because it's not an aura. It is a spell duration cold. As you can see, it doesn't have a aura tag. And we can use aspects. So my next upgrade will be an aspect of the spider for it, because it also is not an aura. And yeah, so 75% of reservation, and the other half is left for like this. Not half, but quarter left for this. And, you know, cast some damage taken. Because cast some damage taken costs a lot of mana now. Yeah. Very important to leave Stormbrand and, you know, all the pieces of cast some damage taken at level 1, because cast some damage taken has 250% mana multiplier, which is, you know, actually very considerable. For the flasks, I'm using Overflowing Chalice. It's Sulfur Flask, which gives increased damage. I'm using this for Onslaught. Cinder Swallow Urn. Oh man, RIP Cinder Swallow, by the way. But it gives some regen. I went with the regen Unveil. And Life Sustain, right, during mapping. Enemies ignited by you sometimes works because of combustion, linked to Wave of Conviction and Cold Snap. So kind of a neat little, you know, synergy I put into as well. Quicksilver of Adrenaline, poor dudes, man. Yeah, Enduring Mana Flask because of cast on damage taken stuff, and instant Divine Flask of Staunching. It's bubbling. You can go Seething, which is kind of the same. Kind of the same. All right. Yep. That's for the gear. My skills, I ran over, right? Took when damage taken setups, Conductivity, Stormbrand, Hex Touch. I'm running Stone Golem for some regen, Arcane Surge, Steel Skin on left click, and Flame Dash as well. Yeah. I have also cast on Death Portal because I'm a softcore player. Smoke Mine and Arctic Armor. Smoke Mine just, I don't know, sometimes when I need to get over terrain, or rarely use it, but yeah. Next upgrade will be an Ami. I will go for +2 Amulet, +1 Intelligent, +1 Lightning, spell skill gems, hopefully hitting Life Unveil on Prefix, or a Life on Waking, which is pretty unrealistic, and some decent resists on a suffix, maybe even an open suffix for Aspect Craft. Better boots with Life MS. Yeah, and we'll see, maybe like Onslaught on Kill or something, and I can drop this. We'll see, like, but yeah, these are the 2 places you get as many resistances as possible. And since I'm running Headhunter, I don't get any resists from the build as well. Yeah, for the tree, it's the generic caster witch tree, right? But not really, because we don't get any benefits from spell damage, so I'm stretching for lightning stuff. All of this is lightning damage and like effect of non-damaging elements, pretty good. Elite Overload, this is not a non-crit version, right? So Elite Overload gives more elemental damage, which is a very easy way to scale to get instant benefit. We proc Elite Overload with like Void Sphere and all the trigger stuff, because Herald of Thunder does not have any base crit, right? Anyway, yeah, stretching here for like Elemental, Divine Judgment node, penetration and non-damaging elements is a bit more damage. That's why this is more profitable. Stretching this also percent elemental damage and some element resistance, very useful. Discipline and training, and this life. Double cluster jewel setup. Alright. First one is Prismatic Heart for some res again, and Doriani's Lesson for some leech. Elemental damage, leech test life. But if you're running this, right, it says lightning damage, leech test life, which is already, you can drop Doriani's and get like Prismatic Heart, Widespread maybe, and I don't know, what's the other good suffix? Not even sure. Like, you can go Overshock, you can go, very important for this build, as this is a non-crit build, Supercharge. This is a very rare node, and it gives like 30% more DPS. And my other cluster jewel is Supercharge and Prismatic Heart. Supercharge is a prefix, right? Yeah, so as for a suffix, I don't remember. Don't quite remember. But yeah. Just decent you know, lightning damage stuff or elemental damage stuff. Don't get spell damage. Doesn't benefit you at all. For the medium clusters, we go increase damage while affected by Herald, Endbringer, and Empower and Envoy. No, sorry. Endbringer is suboptimal. We go Empowered Envoy on every jewel and ideally Dark Messenger. Dark Messenger gives Herald skills increased damage and area of effect. Area of effect is basically the radius when you can proc Herald of Thunder. As I am understanding, there's no, I couldn't really find that online, but I think that's the thing, because Herald of Thunder has an AoE tag, and I think in an area around you means like area around you will grow, and like you don't have to stay as close to bosses during, you know, boss fights to Herald of Thunder to tick. That's because that can be pretty deadly, right? So yeah, ideally Empowered Envoy and Dark Messenger, but Endbringer is also okay, right? I'm running 3 Grand Spectrums for increased elemental damage per Grand Spectrum. Yeah, I'm running a small armor cluster jewel for Enduring Composure, and just the jewel to help cap my resistances, which are, you know, overcapped even with the Headhunter, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, not really overcap, but yeah, I'm gonna have to. Damn, this is so nice. This like elemental weakness proof without a Headhunter. Damn. Anyway, that's for the build. Most of it anyway, and a Corrupting Blood jewel just for the feels good. Oh yes, and as I said, Corrupted Soul, if you missed it, very essential for this build. Gives a chunk of ES. It gives how much? 1000 ES almost. Right, 700, right? And very important splitting, right? You don't get your energy shield stripped off right away. You get like kinda, you know what I mean. And I anointed Ash, Frost, and Storm. You can go with Frenzy Charge Generation, Disciple of the Slaughter. You can go with No Witnesses for Elusive. Or you can go Whispers of Doom. This will probably be my next upgrade as well. On my next Emmy, I'll have Whispers of Doom to go Conductivity plus Ellie Weakness for more single target damage, right? Because with map clear, as you saw, this build doesn't struggle. Alright, yeah, for the Pantheons, I run Soul of Lunaris. You can go this Soul of Aracali if you have trouble sustaining, because it says 10% chance to avoid lightning damage from hits. Pretty decent, right? Basically, you take 10% less damage from self-tick. Literally 10% less damage, right? This is also good because we have like 3.5k HP and no stun immunity. I'm running this because some physical damage reduction and also zooms. And Soul of Groothole, 1% additional physical damage reduction for each hit you've taken recently. And we hit ourselves. Why are you hitting yourself? Pretty frequently, right? So basically 5 free phase damage mitigation. You can run Aberrath for Burning Ground or reduced chaos damage taken, pretty strong against chaos damage. My chaos res is non-existent. It's a very soft core build. And yeah, let's see. Toxic Sewers. Toxic Sewers. Where's it? Hayward Hamlet. Yeah, I don't think I have anything there. Burning Ground, area effect, below base value. Does it have? Yeah, all right. It's just that, you know, Burning Ground is gonna hurt. Let's not hurt ourselves then. Vulnerability, ailments, sure. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is even scarier, but beyond is good for this though, right? That's I think I went over everything for the build, and yeah, let me just redeem myself for the terrible showcase. Beyond kind of spoiled the fun as well, but yeah, yoink, everything explodes, right? Crest of Desire version deals definitely more DPS, as I said, like it doubled my DPS, but a 6-link it would probably like 1.8 increase, and I highly recommend you go for the Crest. If you don't have the money, like as I said, you can clear almost all the content except for the most difficult one on a 6-link. And yeah. Yoink, spoiler. As you can see, I'm hitting myself, right? Damaging pretty heavily, so sustain is pretty difficult on this build. Stack deck, sure. Additional map is pretty good. Increased pack size doesn't do anything. Yeah, guys, like Expedition is so much fun. Like if you have stopped playing this, just you know, get a bit of patience, guys. It will pay off. Like the amount of pleasure I'm getting from playing this is insane. I'm leveling a couple of new characters as well, so it's gonna be more build guides soon. I've had like a couple of characters fail miserably already, right? It's my maybe like 7th character this league. So yeah, guys, I totally get the frustration with it. Like not dealing damage sucks, but just takes a bit more time to get to late game, I guess. In this game. Anyway, I'll collect the loot after I say goodbye. This was my build guide. This was what I'm playing, what I'm currently playing. Hopefully I redeemed myself. And yeah, nothing new, right? Impulses plus Storm Gift is yeah, guys. I didn't play Autobomber last league. Like the Ignite version was probably even more enjoyable and more single target. But this is what I'm rolling with. Thank you so much for watching and bearing with me through this very long video. I assume 33 minutes. Okay, it's been even longer, alright? If you have any questions or if you wanna spend some time with me, hang out, come to my stream. I stream every day at Idris_elbow. Elbow. Alright, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Alright.
Amazing! I really should have charged more for that one.